This was our first dinner back in a restaurant in a really long time, and let me tell you, it really did not disappoint. Today we are taking a trip to Seneca in Saratoga. It's right in the heart of downtown Saratoga, kind of right like a block and a half off of Broadway. Really cool spot. The restaurant has kind of like a modern American kitchen setup. The thing that kind of makes them a little bit outstanding is they have this like wood-fired oven and grill area in an open concept kitchen, so you can see right into the kitchen. It's really cool, but that's what makes it stand out. This video is in a little bit of a different format that you might be used to. It's a little bit less reaction, a little bit more review. Stick around to the end and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And if you like the video along the way, remember, hit like down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's head down to the restaurant. The menu is broken down to apps, snacks, and entrees. And let me tell you, there's not really like a focus. I would say as far as like the design of the menu, it's very much like American, inspired by kind of global cuisine, but really inspired by the ingredients. As far as our plan of attack for this restaurant, what we did was picked a couple of appetizers, and then there was an entree I had my eye on. And based on that entree, the beverage I was gonna go with was gonna be a beer, but they didn't have too many tap beers on, they didn't have too many beers on tap. Cassie handed me their drink menu and there was one on there I really had to try. And it's funny because it was right at the bottom of the menu. It was released to KRAKEN and I had to do it, guys. It was amazing. It was a mix of black spice rum, ginger syrup, fresh mint, lime juice, and ginger beer. Seriously incredible. It reminded me of like a mix of like a mojito and a Moscow Mule and a Caparina. It was a really good drink. I was really happy that we released to KRAKEN that day. That was cheesy, wasn't it? For the snacks, one of the things we tried were these goat cheese polenta fries. Man, these were amazing. They had like a black garlic tzatziki and like goat cheese shredded all over the top. I always get tricked out by polenta fries on menu because they're never as crispy as you want them to be. When you hear the word fries, you think you're gonna get crunch into like a French fry. And a polenta fry, because polenta in nature always has a little extra water in it, it's just the exterior. But in this case here, it really didn't bother me at all. They were really good. There was so much cheese shredded over the top. A really, really solid snack. Then we tried these fried chicken deviled eggs. And let me tell you, I know I'm on record at the channel here talking about how deviled eggs is not really something I order at a restaurant, but this was a Cassie special. I think it was intriguing to her because there was fried chicken, so she had to try it. It had fried chicken, gravy, dill pickle relish, hot honey. I didn't hate them at all. Definitely a really good kick from the hot honey. In fact, I don't know how Cassie got those down. She's not really a fan of spicy food like I am. The chicken was great. One of the really cool things about this I thought was really interesting is they actually used some of the yolk mixture to hold the eggs down as a base, which I think is a really clever idea. For me, I'm always confused about how you're supposed to eat deviled eggs, whether you're supposed to do one bite or multiple bites. So I just always go all in. In this case here though, the chicken was kind of large, so it made it kind of tough, but it was still a fun time. So the entree, and I gotta go to the notes for this one. Wagyu burger, tomato jam, smoked cheddar, roasted shallot aioli, potato roll, house cut fries. Saratoga is a spotty place to eat. Because it's a track area, it brings in kind of people with some money. So sometimes when you see menus, the menus take liberties with their ability to charge for stuff. So out of the gate, I don't trust a restaurant on the first visit. I just don't. So in this case here, I went with one of the lesser expensive items on the menu because I wanted to kind of gauge where they are in terms of value versus ingredients and all that stuff and execution. That's where I wanted to start. And that burger sounded amazing to me. So let's start out with the main flaw here. It's served on kind of like a cutting board thing. It was like a raised cutting board in this case here. Now, it's cute, but it's not practical. For me, I need boundaries. I don't want to have to pick up one fry and then have the rest fall off the plate. I mean, you could see it was a really, really packed plate. That is, however, where all the bad stops in this dish. It was actually really, really good. The burger was evenly cooked through, a nice medium rare, exactly how I ordered it. It had a really deep char. You know, they're using that wood-fired oven and grill type thing. That char really played off the aioli and the cheese, and both of those were not applied in any kind of sloppy amount. It was just perfect. The bun had a little oiled top with a little sea salt topping, and then it had Seneca branded right into it. One of those things really cool, really cute. Not necessary, but I thought it was a nice touch. Fries were really good. They were tossed in like a nice flaky, like almost like a Maldon sea salt. Probably was Maldon sea salt. It didn't really stick too well, but that kind of made a little game where you tried to bite into a fry and pick up a little crystal of salt. That was a kind of fun part of the dish. On the side, they had like this tomato jam that was like kind of like a cutesy ketchup. I kept it off the burger and just kind of started dunking the fries in there along with the sea salt. It was decent. A lot of times when you're dealing with a homemade ketchup, it's a little bit too, doesn't have that consistency of ketchup because, you know, commercial ketchups use, you know, a ton of corn syrup. So it doesn't have that texture that you're looking for, but it tasted really good. There was also a pickle on there. It was a really, really large pickle, like a quarter of a really big cucumber. Nicey, nicey. We thought about possibly ending the meal there and going get dessert elsewhere, but honestly, it was such an impressive meal that we just had to have dessert there. So between the two of us, we settled on this turtle cheesecake mousse parfait, graham cracker, caramel, chocolate sauce, toasted pecans. It was really amazing. We shared it. That cheesecake mousse was really light and it carried the whole dessert really well. A lot of times when you order cheesecake, especially after a really heavy meal, you just feel gross after you eat that. In this case here, it was nice and light, and the fact that we shared it was another like kind of layer on top. We got to have some nice sweet flavors, but not feel completely gross walking out of there. There is one thing I would actually change about this, and it's that the graham cracker was at the bottom, kind of like your normal cheesecake slice, and because it was served in like a little cutesy kind of jar, by the time you got through the parfait enough to actually get to the graham cracker, you were basically just eating the graham cracker. So I would actually just build it, you know, flip the way you're building it, do everything else at the bottom of the jar, and at the top of the jar, put the graham cracker and whipped cream and all the stuff on top. I think that would really put this dessert over the top. Or a more simple solution, use a shorter jar with a wider mouth. So I don't know if I've said this enough, but overall, this was a really awesome meal. The service was great. Inside was really cute and modern. I really loved how they had the table spaced out. I think that's not something that's gonna last for a long time. I think that's just kind of an artifact of COVID. And I think once things open up and capacity is allowed to be higher, that's probably gonna fill in a little more. But for me, at this point, it's a very comfortable spacing, especially Saratoga. You should see, they pack them in there. They also have an outdoor dining area, which we really didn't get to see, but seemed like a lot of fun. As far as the food was very creative and tasted awesome. I mentioned at the start of this video, this was a new format. So if you stuck around this far, I wanna know, leave a comment down below. How did you like this new format of video? With things opening up a little bit more, it's kind of difficult to bring the lighting and the camera and get set up. And, you know, we don't wanna really intrude on other people's dinners and stuff like that. And we wanna also enjoy the time while we're there as well. So I kind of want to move to this more review over reaction. It kind of worked out really well when we were doing takeout because I can go get food and bring it back home. And I'm sure we'll still have videos in that format there, but I want to also kind of start reviewing some of the nicer places. And a place like Seneca and Saratoga definitely has a lot of buzz around it and definitely deserves a little bit more of a review, which I can't actually do by setting up a camera inside. But I'd really love your feedback here. If there was something that worked about the video, if there's something that didn't work about the video, definitely let me know. And if you liked it, definitely hit like and subscribe. I'm gonna leave a link to all of my dining reviews right here, and you can check all that out. Thanks a lot for watching. Have an awesome day. We'll see you in the next one.